Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the final chapter of a show that's been a massive part of our lives for the past 7 years, Cobra Kai. 6 seasons, 3 epic parts to this final installment, and now, it's all over. After the shocking events of Season 6 Part 2, with Kwan's tragic death at the Sekai Taikai tournament, one question remained: who would be crowned the best dojo and fighters in the world? Well, Part 3 brings the competition home to the All Valley, the very place where Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence first clashed back in 1984. But this time, they're on the same side. Get ready for epic battles, major character resolutions, and some seriously emotional moments. Did everyone get the happy ending they deserved? And how does the ending connect back to the original Karate Kid movie? We're breaking it all down. Just a heads up, massive spoiler alerts ahead. So, if you haven't finished watching Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 3, maybe save this video for later. Let's dive straight into it, the ending. In a word, happy. For most of our main characters, at least. Robbie facing off against Axel from the Iron Dragons, but things take a brutal turn when Axel deliberately breaks Robbie's leg. Ouch! And then there's Sam, who realizes she doesn't want to fight anymore, leading Miyagi-Do to withdraw from the Sekai Taikai. But here's where things get interesting. In true Johnny Lawrence fashion, he revives Cobra Kai. Miguel steps up to take Miyagi-Do's place in the finals. Now Miguel and Tory would be fighting under the Cobra Kai banner. This leads to LaRusso having a vision of Mr. Miyagi, reminding him that it's not about winning or losing, but about everything that karate has brought to their lives. What's truly poetic is that LaRusso is now rooting for the dojo he fought against 40 years prior, in the very same venue. Talk about character development. Tory and Zara face off, continuing their feud from the previous part. Zara dominates the first round, but after Robbie professes his love and reminds her to show no mercy, she defeats Zara, knocking out a tooth and earning her the nickname the Tooth Fairy. This gives Cobra Kai the points they desperately need. The male final is intense. Axel, trained to be a bone breaker by Sensei Wolf, faces Miguel. Silver and Wolf want Axel to exploit Miguel's previous back injury and break his spine. But Axel hesitates, giving Miguel the opening he needs to win. Axel also walks away from the Iron Dragon due to Wolf's unethical teachings. With the overall points tied, it all comes down to a fight between the senseis, Johnny Lawrence versus Sensei Wolf. The first to 3 points wins it all. But this fight wasn't just about the tournament. It was about something much deeper for Johnny. Johnny sees this fight as a second chance, a way to rewrite his past. His loss in 1984 sent his life spiraling downward, making him feel like a failure. This fight, in the same venue, offers him a chance at redemption. Sensei Wolf is a ruthless fighter with no morals. LaRusso helps Johnny find balance, teaching him defense and reminding him of Miyagi-Do principles. This leads Johnny to victory, proving that Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do can work together in harmony. Johnny wins, with LaRusso reminding him to use balance and defense. They are working together, and Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do are able to work together in harmony. But what about the other characters? Where did they end up? Johnny gets his house with Carmen, moving out of the apartment to raise their new daughter. He also starts training new students at the Cobra Kai dojo, which is booming after their victory. Robbie and Tory are still together and get offered career opportunities with a fighting agency. Miguel is heading to Stanford but spends a few weeks with Sam in Okinawa, who is studying in Japan. Hawk and Dimitri are going to Caltech. Chozen pursues a romantic relationship with Kim, who realizes that her grandfather's training methods were unhealthy. She stays and trains under her new philosophy. The final scene shows LaRusso trying to catch a fly with chopsticks, a callback to Mr. Miyagi. Johnny returns and kills the fly with his hand, showing that despite their different approaches, they are now the best of friends, business partners, and trainers of a new generation of fighters. A main story that got a focus in this part of the season was around Kreese. Following Kwan's death, he was riddled with guilt and grief and felt a sense of responsibility because his student ended up turning to aggression and brute force, something which ultimately ended up with him losing his life on the mats. After Kwan's death, Kreese seeks redemption, repairing his relationships with Tory and Johnny. They embrace in the parking lot where Kreese once dismissed Johnny. Kreese kills Terry Silver's guard to protect Johnny, sacrificing himself to stop Silver from harming Lawrence's family. Kreese defeating Sela and being prepared to die for it showed his true change of heart because he knew he'd always be the bad guy and there was no changing that, so it meant that he'd come to terms with the person that he was and always had been, and that if his final act was stopping Sela from being the villain, then so be it. I was surprised to see that both of them go out that way, but it was definitely an epic way for two long-term villains to be killed off and depart the show. I thought this was a good way for Cobra to conclude. I'm glad there was a happy ending all round for the main characters. Do I think Ciari and Sela being killed off like that felt a bit abrupt? Yeah, I did, and I'm not going to lie, I wasn't really the biggest fan of the way that they both went out, but it was eventful and action-filled, so I'll let them have it. I just didn't really like the fact that it was never addressed after it happened. One thing that I did really like in this season was the fact that Johnny Lauren got to reclaim Cobra Kai and fight under it one final time to get his victory. The show started with it pretty much being about him, and it concluded with him getting the very thing that was 40 years in the making, that second chance at life and the feeling like he wasn't a loser. In part 3, it did feel really condensed to the point where many of the supporting cast members didn't feature much at all. The likes of Devin, Kenny, Anthony, and Jasmine only featured at the end. The only true supporting cast members were Dimitri and Hawk, so I thought that was a bit of a shame. I'll stand by this, as I've said it throughout the entire time that I've covered Cobra. Some of the acting in it is quite horrific, cliché and cringy, but I think the type of show that it is and the relatively low budget feel that it has enabled it to get away with it. I don't feel like it's the actors, because many of them have been in other things, and I've not really thought the same. I think a lot of it comes down to the writing. One thing that bothers me about the show is the fact that I feel like following Ciari breaking out of jail in Season 5, it was never addressed how he was able to just roam freely, and I guess we'll never properly know now, seeing as though he's dead. But outside of that, I would say that I did like the redemption arc that he had. That was probably one of my favorite things in the final part of the season, along with Johnny's victory. In terms of the parts of Season 6, I'd say this is probably the second best one. I thought Part 2 was just incredible, and there was a lot at stake, plus the final battle was just epic to watch. Whilst Part 3 had some great fight scenes, it just felt like it lacked that togetherness that was at the epicenter of Cobra Kai, because many of the characters were just in the background or not there at all. It did have many emotional moments and a happy ending, which does leave the friend feeling complete, which is a great way for the show to finish, so I am pleased about that. Plus, I'd also say I'm glad we got to see why Mr. Miyagi was viewed as a crook in the newspaper article, because he was retrieving that necklace that belonged to his family that was wrongfully taken by a guard, showing that he wasn't a bad person. It's genuinely the end of an era with this show finishing, but I suppose the good thing is the next Karate Kid movie is only around the corner, so we've not got too long to wait. Let's just hope the franchise continues to be successful and create good movies. So there you have it, Cobra Season 6 Part 3 ending explained. So, what did you think of the ending of Cobra Kai? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns, reviews, and all things Karate Kid. You can also follow me on social media. Check out the links in the description below for my Letterboxd, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.